See in these fresh visuals that are coming right outside the new Indian Parliament, where these two people are actually chanting slogans and are being carried and overpowered by the Delhi police personnel and arrested and taken away. So
I would just want to stop you, Aditya, for a minute, because now for the first time a still has emerged inside the Parliament where it is showing that how this color spray was being used by two people who jumped into it, and several parliamentarians were standing there looking aghast at what has happened. That included Rahul Gandhi, and apart from Rahul Gandhi, there were several other Karti Chidambaram, several other member of parliaments who were inside this. And you can also see in that still, that which clearly depicts as to how that color bomb or the color spray was being used inside the parliament. It is indeed a very scary security breach, Aditya.
And anything could have happened, Aditya.
Yeah. It's a horrific image, really. This photograph, we'll try to play that out here on News9 Live. This photograph is really, really asks the question that how did the security allow such canisters being inside the parliament?
Somebody must have carried that canister inside, which is a big scare.
And the big point is that you have multiple layers of security,
Several layers of security.
With the new parliament coming in, there's new technology that's been introduced. There are multiple layers of security, and a lot of lessons were learned after the parliamentary attack 22 years ago. But it seems that a fresh audit is necessary. How was this visitor without proper verification allowed inside the Indian Parliament is a big question. I'm sure both the Delhi police, the Parliament security and the central agencies would be looking at it in a greater detail. But as of now, their interrogations would be pending right now. These people are being interrogated right now. And this photograph certainly is horrific. You can see parliamentarians standing in horror, looking towards the visitors gallery.
Aditya, I could understand. I can still, because we have covered Parliament for such a long time. I can completely understand. Like, you enter Parliament on a bona fide credentials, all of a sudden something snaps, or not a mentally sound, or you jump into all. I can understand still with a sack full of salt. I can still understand that. But somebody being able to carry that smoke bomb or smoke spray inside the Parliament, where they actually into the visitors gallery. If you remember, when you enter the visitor gallery, you are made, even if you're a bona fide journalist, you are made to deposit your mobile phone right at the start of the Parliament.
Everything.
So there's no way you could have carried, and if they missed the smoke canister till that time, where they were actually able to jump inside the where the member of Parliament, where the Prime Minister could be sitting, Home Minister could be sitting, the entire sanctum sanctorum of everybody, your guests would be sitting, and they were able to carry that. I find that completely unacceptable and unbelievable that this can happen, and they were not able to detect it.
Absolutely, Brijesh, this photograph is horrific. I mean, there are multiple layers of security. There's physical checking, there are metal detectors, there is other devices that are seen, but still it seems to be a major security breach that has happened. It's important to mention here also, although there's no connection right now, it's a Parliament attack anniversary that we marked today.
Absolutely.
And there was a threat by Gurpatwant Singh Pannu and the Six for Justice, both designated
Adi, I'd just like you to hold on to that thought, Aditya. There, in fact, visuals, just what Aditya and Brijesh were talking about. These are the first visuals that you
look at the picture.
Absolutely,
look
shocking.
At the picture. It is. I'm telling you the reason why I got. I went into Tizzy when I saw this thing is the fact that how can you have this? I'm not going to use the word smoke bomb, but this is nothing other than that. How can anybody carry that thing? It
could have been anything.
It could have been anything. Inside the Parliament, to a situation where they were able to jump from the visitors gallery into the place where all the member of Parliament there. Rahul Gandhi is there. There is standing on the extreme right of your screen. Your Kanimo is there. It could have been anybody. Prime Minister might be sitting inside the Parliament, or the Home Minister might be sitting
and as you rightly mentioned, there are multiple levels of security.
This is unbelievable, and multiple. This is multiple level of security, and what is important is forget multiple. The fact is that that they are layered. There are SPG guys who are inside this,
metal
who are
detectors,
security this thing.
Absolutely.
Then once you enter, you are frisked at the entry level. Where if you are the visitor, where you go to the visitors gallery, and then once you enter inside, all your electronic devices are confiscated, are put there. So you have to keep your mobile phone there, keep all the electronic equipment there, and only then you go forward.
Right. We're also joined by Karthike in the studio, who's going to explain to us what exactly has happened here. Karthike, over to you.
Okay, thank you all of you. This is it's not a good day. 13th of December. this just reminds me, I was standing outside and suddenly I saw a CRPF guy being thrown outside the wall, and suddenly in front of me, because standing in the Secretariat gate, which was supposed to be the side entry to the main gate, and everything was closed, because only thing we heard was tut 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 tut, and then the siren started happening and the MP started to run out and they started to move towards what we know as the Vijay Chowk. Now what has happened here is that the person seems to have jumped out of the gallery. Now there is a difference between the Lok Sabha gallery in this new parliament and the Lok Sabha gallery of the old parliament. If you look at these galleries here, the Lok Sabha gallery of this parliament is not that high, and secondly the Lok Sabha gallery of the earlier parliament, if anyone who wanted to jump would end up jumping on the tables itself. It was higher and there was no place to jump. Now since it's a bigger hall, there is a place to land. The gentleman must have jumped, that intruder must have jumped right into the hall. That's one. Secondly, all the galleries which have been occupied, if you see on this side of the hall, most of these galleries are occupied by people who are government officials, SPG officials, but this sort of a thing in parliament is unimaginable even at that point of time. And let me put this across, even on 13th of December
they were not able to
enter the premise of the parliament. Now what has happened for this time is that yes, there are no guns, there are no bullets, there is no firing, there is no casualty. But let's put this on screen. Please take me out of the screen. Let's put this on screen. Let's make this screen brighter. Let's create a brighter screen, please. So what happened is that they were able to get inside the sanctorum of the parliament. That was not the case. Secondly, all of them were killed outside the outer rim of the parliament. But in this case, they are not only inside, but the spray was also used. One. Secondly, there were 3 of them. Third, they were able to do something legally. It's like this is an analogy. This is like 9/11. You get a pilot's license, you get trained in America, you get trained in Germany, and you ram it straight into the 2 towers. Now what have these people done? We have to understand that what's happening in the parliament. People who go to Lok Sabha galleries and Raj Sabha galleries are vetted security wise. Let me go to Brijesh.
Kartikeya, there are 2 things. The 2 member of parliaments who had arrested Hanuman Beniwal and Maluk Nagar are the 2 MPs who have actually pinned down those 2 individuals, and they are being their sound bites have come, which will be playing in a while now. And what we have been gathering from the Delhi police sources is that the antecedents of all the 4 people, 2 who were arrested outside the parliament and the 2 inside, is being verified, and the initial round of questioning is being related to the security breach A, and also who gave them access. That is the line which the Delhi police is working primarily on. This is the new information which
there are
has
3
come
things. One thing is sure, that these are not terrorists per se, because they are without guns.
Right.
These are
it seems more like a political protest.
Let me use the word. This is something which happens in parliaments in Anglo-Saxon democracies. These are like activists. They disturb the proceedings. That's one thing. Secondly, they have used the normal procedure, which means that the vetting process somewhere has failed, that the intelligence agencies were not able to vet. Now it's such a problem. Next time normal people, normal civilians, who want to go to parliament, they will have a tough time getting inside the parliament. The third and the most fundamental aspect is that they did not masquerade as they did not misidentify themselves. When the parliament attack took place on 20 years ago, they had forged stickers of MHA. They came through the normal process. Please understand, they did not sneak inside the parliament complex. That's the most important thing. Let me just tell you the difference. 20 years ago, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government was in power, they sneaked in, they had weapons, it was a conspiracy. What happened was they wanted to kill the parliamentarians, they wanted to take them hostage, they wanted to go inside the central hall, they wanted to go to Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha, but they had no idea. Here what they have done is, they have applied some, and then, has any MP endorsed it? That is question number 1. Under which quota they have come? That's the question number 2. Third question is, how did the vetting process commence? Fourth, any vetting of a person who is a visitor has to be done very discreetly.